Okay, so this is the solutions to worksheet 4.12, surface area of prisms. So I'm going to go through these 9 questions so you can find your answers. So let's look at this question 7. So this is a prism. So if we look at it, we have a front side, and that's echoed on the back. We have a side, and that's echoed on the side. And then we have the top side, which is echoed on the bottom. So we have 6 sides, but there's really 3 pairs of sides, right? So I like to do it where I sketch each side out. So I have 2 of these, which are 6 by 16. So this would be the bottom. I have 2, this will be the front, which is 3 by 6. And I have 2, these will be the top, oh wait, this is the front and back. The sides are 3 by 16. So those are all my sides. So area for this, 2 times length times width equals 2 times 6 times 16. So 2 times 6 times 16, which is 192 meters squared. Area here, 2 times length times width, which is 2 times 3 times 6, which is 2 times 3 times 6, which is 36 meters squared. And then the final one, 2 times length times width, which is 2 times 3 times 16. So 2 times 3 times 16, which is 96 meters squared. And then for my total, which I'll do in red, total surface area, I add all these up, 192 plus 36 plus 96. And I get 324 meters squared. Hopefully I'm not making errors. You know me, I like to put a box around it just to make sure we've accounted, or that your teacher can find it. Yes, okay. So if you're not sure where all these come from, this is the 3 by 16. The top and bottom is the 6 by 16. And the 3 by 6 is the front and back. Okay, so that's how you do a rectangular prism. So it's just counting all the sides. This next one I'll do it using that formula. Okay, because for some of you that might be easier. So looking at question A, we're going to use the formula oops, I'm not going to use that pen. Surface area equals 2 length times width plus 2 length times height plus 2 width times height. So you need to label each of these length, width, and height. So this will be my height, and this will be my length, and this will be my width. Now it's just a matter of substituting in. So length is 5, width is 4, length is 5, height is 7, and width is 4, and height is 7. Now, I have to remember order of operations, so I need to do all these multiplications first before I add. So when I do that, I'm going to get 2 times 5 times 4, so 40. 2 times 5 times 7, 70, plus 2 times 4 times 7, which is 56. 40 plus 70 plus 56 is 166 millimeters squared. So this would be my surface area, and we like to put a box around it. Now, interesting to note, these are actually the exact same calculations, just in one I've broken them out, but in the other one we're using that given formula. Okay, so there's actually nothing different mathematically about this. They're both processes you can use to find your answer. Let's do the last one. We'll use the formula again. So surface area is equal to 2 times length times width, plus 2 times length times height, plus 2 times width times height. Squinching it in. I'll make this my height, this my length, and this my width. Doesn't really matter as long as you sort them out. I'm going to start over a little bit here. Length is, well, it's 1 1/5. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2, so that's going to be 1.2 times 5 plus 2 times 1.2 times 3 plus 2 times 5 times 3. Okay, and I think we'll all fit in. So 2 times 1.2 times 5 is 12. And again, just remember, you want to do these separate and then add them up in the last step. So that's basically each of those little separate ones is what I was doing in the first one. These are the separate little, that's like a, right? I've just broken it out. And for some people, they like that visual checklist of the sides. So it's really up to you as to what you're more, if you're saying, give me a formula, miss, then this was a way to work. So 2 times 1.2 times 3 equals 7.2. And then 2 times 5 times 3 is 30. So 7.2 plus 12 plus 30, 49.2. And this is yards squared. And you know me, I like a box. So that is the surface area of, these are all rectangular prisms. And you can tell a rectangular prism because all the sides are rectangles. Okay? Now let's look at triangular prisms. We got our shot there. So 10 to 11 and 12 are triangular. We can't do the same thing. Aha! We have to really account for our sides, and depending on the nature of the triangle, it's going to affect our formula. So I'm just going to break this space up so that I have enough room to do all these. So let's look at our first one. So when we look at this, I have a triangle in the front, which is the same as the one on the back, and then I have a side here, I've got a side down here, and then I also have this side here, this top, right? Okay, now looking at them, all my dimensions of my triangle are different, so that means that I have 3 different rectangles. Okay, so let's sketch out what we have. I have a triangle that is 8 by 15, but I actually have 2 of those. Then I have a rectangle that is 8 by 20, and I only have 1 of those. I have another rectangle that is 15 by 20. That's the one on the bottom, only 1 of those. And then I have one that is 17 by 20. That's the one on the top. But again, I only have 1 of those, and 1 of those. Now, a triangular prism is always going to have 5 sides. It's just sometimes you have duplicates. Now we can figure each of these out. So we're going to use our formulas. Now, I've written all my information here, so I don't even need to look at the original. Okay? But if you wanted to, just to kind of check what each one is, the red one is 17 by 20, so it's that one. The blue one is 15 by 20. The yellow one is 8 by 20. And the 2 triangles are 8 by 15. So let's do this. Area equals, I have 2 of them, base times height over 2. And I always like this because the 2 on the top and this, or on the side and the bottom, divide out. So this equals 8 times 15. And 8 times 15 is 120 feet squared. Then here I have a rectangle, length times width is 8 times 20, which is equal to 160 feet squared. And then here I have length times width, which is 15 by 20, 15 times 20 is 300 feet squared. And then finally, length times width is 17 by 20. So 17 times 20 is 340 feet squared. Now, that's a lot of work. Now what we need to do is we need to add all these up to get our total surface area. So surface area will be 120 plus 160 plus 300 plus 340. So we'll add all those up. And I get 920 feet squared. And we'll put a box around it. Okay. Alrighty, so that's that triangular prism. Triangular prisms you can't use a formula like you can with rectangular, so you really have to account your sides. So let's take a look here. I know I'm going to have two triangles. So here we go. So I have two triangles, which are 4 by 6. So area of that triangle, 2 base times height over 2 equals, and I love it that the 2's divide out. So I get 4 times 6. So this will be equal to, I always have to do it because I never trust myself, 24 meters squared. Okay. Now the next thing I have is I actually have an isosceles triangle. So I have two rectangles that are 5 by 7. So I can save myself some work. So it's 2 times length times width, 2 times 5 times 7, which is equal to 5 times 7 is 35 times 2 is 70 meters squared. And then finally I have one on the bottom that is 6 by 7. So area is length times width, which is 6 times 7, which is 42 meters squared. Now, I'm not done. Now I've got to gather all my sides. So surface area will be 24 plus 70 plus 42. So 24 plus 70 plus 42, which is equal to 136 meters squared. All right. Okay. This last one here, again, it's like the first one. It is not an isosceles triangle. All the sides of my triangle have different lengths. But really the trouble thing here is figuring out how to orient my triangle. So my triangle, if I put my right angle there, is 9 by 10. And I have two of them. So area is 2, I ran right to the base times height. Mrs. Finley. 2 times base times height over 2. And these will cancel out, which is 9 times 10, which is 90 inches squared. Then I have 3 different rectangles. Okay, now one on the side here is 9 by 9, so it's actually a square. All right, then we have one that is 9 by 10. And then I have one that is, if I make it a little smaller, you can see 13.5 by 9. That's the one on the back. So those are my 3 rectangles. So now I'm going to figure out their area. It's length times width, which is 9 times 9, which is 81 inches squared. Here, length times width equals 9 times 10. We've done that before, inches squared. And then here, length times width, which is 13.5 times 9. And that one I'll need my calculator for. 13.5 times 9 equals 121.5 inches squared. Now, I'm not done. Now I need to I've got this one, this one, this one, and this one. For total surface area, I've got to add those up. So 90 plus 90 plus, oops, I'm going to do them in the right order so it makes more sense to you. 90 plus 81 plus 90 plus 121.5. So 90 plus 81 plus 90 plus 121.5 equals, I'm going to do that again because I don't trust my button pushing. Yep, 382.5, and it's inches squared. And Mrs. Finley likes you to circle your answer or put it in the box for your teacher. So that's triangular prisms. Sadly, you cannot do a formula like you can for rectangular ones, but it's just a matter of kind of sorting it all out. Now, the last three here, these ones here are all triangular prisms. And we can tell that because there's two triangles and the rest are rectangles, okay? Now these last three are cubes. Now cubes are great. Cubes have a formula because each side is the same. If I have this cube here, it's 7 by 7, and I have 6 of them. So my area will be 6 times side squared. So 6 times 7 squared, 6 times 49 equals, 6 times 49 equals 294 yards squared. Cubes are so nice because you can just apply that formula. So let's look at the rest of them. Okay, so surface area will be 6s squared. So S is 0.5. So 0.5 squared is 0.25. And I'm doing the exponent first, right? Because of my order of operations. So that's 1.5 centimeters squared. Cubes feel so nice and easy after all these hard prisms, right? Here, 2/3. Let's see. So surface area equals 6 times, I just want the formula here. Side squared. So it's 6 times 2/3 squared. So 6 times, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So 6 times 4 is 24 over 9. You can change it to a decimal if you want. I get 2.6 repeating. Or you can also say, this is like 8 over 3. So either one, you can give me, I got to get units though. Units are important. Very important because what are they? They're feet, right? Feet squared or feet squared. So decimal or fraction, either one is fine with me. That's just getting you to remember your fraction rules. So these are cubes. All the sides are the same. So that's your solutions for this particular worksheet. And hopefully that helped, that you can slow down and take a look at it. And there you go.